Hey guys, so as you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be another Q&A type video, and I tried to do something different with my hair. I don't know how it looks, but I'm gonna wear it like this to work tonight. So anyways, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions for this Q&A. These are from comments that were left on previous YouTube videos. So I'm gonna try to make this video short, but you know, I tend to ramble. So the first question, is there any ways to dress people faster or how to put a brief on differently? So I've already addressed this in a separate video because this was actually a two-part question, but I addressed it a little bit more elaborately. As far as dressing people faster, what I like to do is, you know, for night shift, because that's what I work, I will at some point during the night, when I'm in there doing rounds, I will get everybody's clothes out and have them ready for the morning, unless it's like somebody who is, you know, super particular, because there are those people who are super particular about what clothes they like to wear, or they want to go through like however many outfits are in their closet in order to choose which ones they actually want to wear. As far as putting a brief on differently, I'm not gonna say to do this, but this is how I've seen other people do it. On night shift only. I would never do this on a day shift or an evening shift, because you can get in trouble for this. And that is to either put inserts into the brief or to double brief. So then in the morning when you're doing your final rounds, you take the one brief out and usually the other brief is still clean. So then you can get through all your people quicker and it's less work that you have to do. However, like I said, I'm not telling you to do this because you really shouldn't. Definitely don't do it on any other shift but night shift if you're going to do it, because you can get in a lot of trouble for doing this. And as far as, excuse me, as far as putting a brief on differently, I know this is not what you meant, but if you have somebody, like, especially if they have dementia or Alzheimer's, they like to dig and they like to play with their poop, or they like to take their brief off. When I was on the memory care unit, we used to put the briefs on backwards. So the tabs, like the little Velcro tabs, are in the back. So it's harder for them to pull the brief off, unless they're going to totally rip it, in which case there's no way that you could have prevented that brief from coming off. But at least with the tabs in the back, it's a little bit more difficult for them to undo the brief and take it off that way. So this is another two-part question. Have you felt overworked, and how many patients do you normally have? I always feel overworked. There's a lot to do. Some nights are better than others. Some nights it's not as demanding. Some nights it's barely demanding at all. Other nights it's like a night from hell, where you feel like you can't even sit down, or you literally just sit down and somebody's back on the light. You get those needy patients, needy residents who are constantly on that light and you just want to scream. Definitely make sure that you're taking breaks. Definitely make sure that you are taking time for yourself to make sure that you're not taking that stress out on the residents or the patients, because it's important that you don't lash out at them because it's not their fault. Even though some of them, I feel like, do this on purpose because they know how irritating it is. As far as how many patients I normally have, it depends on where I work. I've had anywhere from 8 patients a shift to 30 patients a shift. It depends on which shift you're on and what type of unit you're on. So on memory care, on evening shift, I had like 8. On night shift, I had like 13, 14. At the place where I currently work, which is a short-term rehab, I have, well, on the one side, there's about, well, you can have the potential to have about 20 on each side, but That's if it's full, if the census is full and we don't have a full census. Um, so it's not really that bad. Like short-term rehab, a lot of them can get up, they can transfer, they're not total dependents. The only problem is they are on the light a lot more, they are more needy, so it's a little bit different. But it is a lot less physically demanding because, like I said, there are not people who are as physically dependent on you. Next question is, what field of nursing do you want to go into when you're done with nursing school? So when I'm done with nursing school, I'm actually having a hard time deciding what I want to do. When I first started doing nursing school, I wanted to go into psych nursing, like mental health. Just because I've dealt with a lot of Alzheimer's patients, like geriatric mental health nursing, and I just see the need for people who actually care about people with Alzheimer's and actually care about their well-being and not just, you know, going through the motions. And me personally having mental illness, you know, I have depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Those are considered mental illnesses. I have thought about that as well, you know, me being able to relate to these patients because I have gone through it myself. But I've also thought about doing like neurology because I have epilepsy, I have multiple sclerosis, you know, I honestly don't know. Those are the two that I'm kind of going back and forth between right now. But, you know, as I come closer to getting like through nursing school and closer to taking NCLEX and all that, then obviously, you know, once I start applying for jobs, I will kind of narrow that down. But for now, I have no clue. Those are the two though. What's one thing you wish people knew about CNAs? One thing that I wish people knew about CNAs, like we're talking general public, I wish people knew that CNAs don't just wipe butts. I hate it when people say that. It is so annoying. Like, yes, we do wipe a lot of butts, okay? That is part of the job, but we do so much more. You know, there have been so many times when families have come up to me and it's a really emotional job and it's really physically and emotionally taxing, and families have come up to me and, you know, thanked me for being there for their mother or their father when they're dying. You know, I've cared for hospice patients, I've cared for people who are very, very sick, and even if they're not on hospice, they end up dying. But, you know, it's very, very hard, and I wish that people knew that we are so much more than just wiping butts, you know. And I feel like I need to make another video about this. I made a video about it like back when I first became a CNA, but I feel like maybe I need to make another video talking about like some of the things that I've been through since becoming a CNA, because it's a lot, and it's so much more than just wiping butts. So if you know somebody who says, you know, that CNAs are just, you know, glorified butt wipers, please correct them. We do so much more than that. The last question is, how do you prioritize tasks as a CNA? So basically, what I will do is I get a piece of paper at the beginning of my shift. I usually write down what rooms I'm assigned. I write down who my get-ups are, if I have get-ups. You know, you're not necessarily always going to have get-ups. It just depends on your unit, on your patient assignment. If somebody's been sick, I write that down. If somebody has diarrhea, I write that down. If somebody has dementia or is confused, I write that down. If they're combative, I write it down. Those people with the conditions that I just said are the people that I check on first. Anybody who has a bed alarm, any type of alarm, you know, a floor alarm, whatever it is, those people will always get checked on first. Then after them, it becomes the people who are incontinent. If I have hospice patients, you know, I'm going to be checking on them at least every hour, depending on their condition. But I usually check on hospice patients at least every hour, regardless of their condition. But if their condition is worse, then I check on them a little bit more often, just because I want to make sure that the family has what they need if they're in there, or that the patient has what they need if, you know, if they're alone in the room, because a lot of times they are alone in the room and it's hard, but it's true. Other than that, you know, like I said, I just have my whole list of things that I need to get done, whether it's washing wheelchairs or getting people up, you know, whatever it is. There's a whole lot of things that you can be responsible for. Passing ice waters obviously is not going to be a priority. If there's something that is causing someone to be in immediate danger, then obviously that is going to be my number one priority. But after that, you know, it just depends on what needs to get done when. I do rounds every 2 hours, except for hospice patients. I will always do one every hour, at least. So that's pretty much it. If you guys would like another video talking more about anything that I talked about in this video, let me know and I will get it filmed for you. I might make a separate video talking more about like prioritizing things as a CNA. I can actually show you like how I make my list for work and like my list of tasks of what needs to get done for the shift. I can write that down and show you guys like how I go through things. And then the reason why I make a list is because it keeps me accountable, so then I know that I'm not missing something. And then on my final rounds, when everything is done, I put a line through that person's room number, so then I know this person is up. If they're a get up, the trash is out of their room. I shouldn't need to go back into that room again unless they put on the call light. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry this video was way longer than I intended it to be. Like I said, I do tend to ramble, but these were a little bit more information intensive than I anticipated. So if there's any questions that you guys would like to add to a future Q&A video, let me know in the comments below. This video is way longer. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up now. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you guys again soon.